Iran and the West are locked in a high-stakes showdown. The E3 push for snapback sanctions threatens to reimpose sweeping penalties, while Tehran halts IAEA cooperation and warns of defiance. Supporters say snapback is vital to curb nuclear risks. Critics warn it could kill diplomacy. As the October 18th deadline nears, the world braces for what comes next. Iran's Supreme National Security Council, or SNSC, announced on September 20th that Tehran will halt its cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency after the UN Security Council voted against permanently lifting sanctions on the country. Iran's Supreme National Security Council, which is chaired by President Masoud Pezeshkian, called the action taken by the three European nations, who are known as the E3, ill-considered. In a statement, the SNSC condemned the actions of Britain, France and Germany over Iran's peaceful nuclear program.
The move undermined months of engagement with the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, aimed at resuming monitoring and ensuring compliance with international rules. Despite the cooperation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran with the IAEA and the proposals presented to resolve the nuclear issue, the actions of European countries will effectively suspend the path of cooperation with the agency. The Foreign Ministry should continue its consultations within the framework of the decisions of the Supreme National Security Council to protect the country's national interests.
The warning from the Supreme National Security Council came a day after the United Nations Security Council failed to adopt a resolution to permanently lift sanctions against Iran. That vote was called after the three European nations launched a 30-day process on August 28th to reimpose UN sanctions on Iran, claiming that Tehran has violated a deal it signed in 2015 to curb its nuclear program. Russia and China, which are also signatories to the deal, have both rejected the bid to trigger the snapback sanctions. Earlier this month, Iran and the IAEA reached a deal on resuming inspections at Iranian nuclear sites, including those targeted by the United States and Israel in June, following a meeting in the Egyptian capital, Cairo. Iranian Deputy Foreign Minister Kazem Garibabadi also told Iran's IRB television that
the recent agreement reached with the IAEA in Cairo will be completely stopped if nothing special happens in the field of diplomacy.
The vote at the UNSC on September 19th means the snapback sanctions could take effect as early as next Sunday. These would include the reimposition of an arms embargo against Iran, a ban on uranium enrichment and reprocessing, a ban on activities with ballistic missiles, and a punishing global asset freeze, as well as travel bans on Iranian individuals and entities. The E3 had previously offered to delay the snapback for up to 6 months if Iran restored access for UN nuclear inspectors and engaged in talks with the US. As the threat of far-reaching sanctions looms, on September 20th, Pezeshkian emphasized that Tehran can withstand any reimposed sanctions.
We should believe that we can overcome obstacles and that the ill-wishers of this nation cannot block our way. Iran will overcome obstacles that will be imposed on the country. The ill-wishers of this territory cannot block our way. It is totally impossible to stop those who possess the will, determination, and ability to advance. We have never bowed and will never bow to excessive demands because we have the power to bring about change.
Referring to the US-backed Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear sites, including at Natanz and Fordo, the president also said that while Iran's enemies sought to destroy those facilities, Iranian specialists and scientists will rebuild them. Meanwhile, an Iranian official denied a state media report on September 21st that Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi was to meet with officials from Britain, France and Germany in Vienna as sanctions over Tehran's nuclear program loomed again. Earlier, Noor News had reported the talks without giving a date. But an Iranian foreign ministry official told Reuters that was not the case, with Araghchi heading to New York, not Vienna. what is snapback, and why is the clock ticking on one of the most powerful tools the West has to rein in Iran's nuclear program? The term snapback comes from the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA. When world powers, including the US, France, Britain, Germany, Russia and China, struck the agreement with Tehran, they built in a unique enforcement mechanism. Unlike most sanctions processes at the United Nations, which can be blocked by a veto from Russia or China, the snapback was designed to be veto-proof. Any party to the deal could trigger it if they believed Iran was in violation. Here's how it works. A country would notify the UN Security Council of Iran's non-compliance. Unless the Council voted within 30 days to keep sanctions relief in place, which would require avoiding vetoes, all of the pre-2015 UN sanctions would automatically snap back into force. That meant billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets, a halt to international arms sales, strict penalties on Tehran's missile program, and a global chilling effect on trade and investment with Iran. In other words, the snapback was the insurance policy, a way to enforce the deal without getting bogged down in great power politics. But here's the catch. That enforcement tool expires on October 18, 2025. After that date, any attempt to punish Iran through the UN would be subject to a Russian or Chinese veto, effectively neutering international consensus. That looming deadline is why European nations are reportedly considering triggering snapback now before it vanishes from the toolbox. Why does this matter so much? Because Iran's nuclear program has advanced far beyond the limits set by the JCPOA. Under the deal, Iran was capped at enriching uranium to just 3.67% purity and maintaining no more than 300 kilograms of stockpile. That level is suitable only for civilian nuclear power generation, not weapons. Fast forward to today, and the International Atomic Energy Agency estimates Iran's stockpile at nearly 10,000 kilograms, over 30 times the permitted amount. More alarmingly, nearly 450 kilograms of that uranium is enriched to 60% purity. That is extremely close to weapons grade, and no country without an actual nuclear weapons program enriches at such high levels. Western intelligence assessments say Iran has not yet made the political decision to build a bomb. But US agencies warn Tehran has undertaken activities that better position it to produce a nuclear device if it chooses. In plain terms, Iran may not have a warhead yet, but it now has the raw material and technical knowledge to cross that threshold quickly. For the West, snapback is more than a procedural tool. It's leverage. By restoring sanctions, Europe and the US could choke off Iran's oil revenues, complicate its drone exports to Russia, and reassert pressure on a regime that has long played for time. But with the October 18th deadline fast approaching, the question is stark. Will Europe act before the window closes? Or will Russia and China's vetoes leave Iran freer than ever to push toward the bomb?